Welcome back, everyone, again to the 2015 ASEAN Australian Games. My name is Mendrix, and I'm joined by Poon. And we seem to have the game that was about to start, but they're just teasing us at the moment. So, going on through from the last game, there's a few little wrap-ups that we had from there before. What would you say would be the big things, the big takeaways? Who would be the MVP at the moment so far for the series there, Poon?
I definitely have to give it over to LeBlanc. I mean, so far he's done an extremely good job on their mid lane, and I didn't manage to watch the semi-final game, but did a fantastic job on that game most likely too. But positioning on LeBlanc's last game was just beautiful, and yeah, just did a great job last game. So definitely gonna have to give it to him.
Those light bindings really setting up the kills for his team there, really making a difference once that sort of late game slump had popped on through for him. Also with that there, just to say what's happening, we sort of made our way back into Champion Select at the moment. So just to mention the bans that are coming on through, we have Gameplank, Lux, Nidalee, and Aurelia. So, I mean, with that there, that Aurelia is a bit of a target ban. Wouldn't you say there, Poon?
Yeah, Aurelia definitely a target ban. I mean, against Tunic Doreen, played a fantastic Aurelia in that first game of the match. So very, very good job in that semi-finals. Chinny G helping him get to that monster stage that he was in. And yeah, definitely a target ban there. But Gangplank obviously being banned away again because their champion very strong at this point in the game. And Nidalee too being banned against Chinny G.
As we can see there, Darius following suit there. He seems to be the juggernaut that everyone is banning at the moment. They do not want to deal with him. And Nunu against following up. So they believed on that side, I guess, Quiet Vacuum Pumps really didn't like that Nunu, probably being really oppressive of Jenny, not letting him do what he wants him to do. And so he's been removed from the map as well. But we had Brom picked up. Now, Brom, he sort of like jumps back into the spotlight since he's buffs in 5.17 and around 5.16, but they've sort of toned him back again. What's your feeling on the Brom pick so far that they have chosen?
Yeah, Brom, as you mentioned, has been buffed slightly, made his Q only cost 50 mana, but they toned that back. Thought that was a bit too strong, and very, very good in these kind of comps you want to make picks because that Winter's Bite coupled with the concussive blows is so strong in terms of locking one person down. And Braum with something like a Lucian, such a strong lane.
Also going through there, now that they've picked up the Thresh on the side of Karami Senpai, Malut, formerly Malute, we've been apparently pronouncing it wrong from this time. He's informed of us though. He's basically gone through and he picked up that Thresh for Night Pizza. And again, Night Pizza did a great job on the Thresh in the last one, really capitalizing on those hooks after the light bindings had gone through and really making sure he could pick up any sort of fleeing opponents once they realized they had bitten off a bit more that they can chew. How do you feel Night Pizza is going to perform this game?
I mean, as you mentioned, that Thresh last game was such a big factor in their win because they just coupled CC on CC, the light binding with the hooks, just really helped lock down those targets. I mean, Flex Rain was a beast last game, but those hooks and those flays really negated a lot of his carry potential. So, very happy to see Night Pizza on that Thresh again.
And as we mentioned before, Rek'Sai in the last game was banned out, but now he hasn't been, and immediately Sensei has picked him up, really taking that advantage in front of him there. So really stopping any possible chance for Chenny to go for an Eve again, because immediate counter, it's going to show where Eve is on the map. But now that when she's underneath that, or when Rek'Sai is really buried deep, sensing out everyone with her tremor sense, but that's going to be up against Gragas. How's that going to match out, going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, Rek'Sai, a very, very strong jungler. I mean, Bando against CM Senpai last game. So, obviously, one of the champions he's very good on. But Gragas, also one of those champions that are strong. They toned back his W, made the percentage damage on it a lot less. Made his damage a bit weaker in that early game, but still offers the same utility and damage that he did. Or not damage, sorry, but the utility and pick potential that we're used to seeing Gragas make.
Yeah, Gregor's not really crowding people out like he used to before, both figuratively and literally. And going on through there, we've had that Rumble pickup as well now. Very strong with the team fights, as we mentioned before. That ultimate's been nerfed a bit, but still very, game-changing when it lands in the right areas there. But that's going to be going up against that Yasuo again. Is that we don't know, though, if that's going to be going towards LeBlanc, if LeBlanc's going to be playing Yasuo, or if that's going to go back up to Malut, and Malut's going to really show us that performance again of let me just split push and farm and create a lot of map pressure against whoever I'm versing.
As you mentioned, that Yasuo, a flex pick for that team. Karami Senpai uses that in the mid and top lane, and last game, although he didn't get rolling in the laning phase against Flex Rain's Hecarim, it did end up doing some work in that mid to late game, but at that point, Harry Senpai were so strong, so it was kind of hard to see if it was in fact the Yasuo pick that made the difference in that case. But yeah, picking up a not a traditional tanky champion, so it could very well be the top lane or the mid lane Yasuo, but I'd rather see it in the mid lane and have something tankier in the top lane.
Vayne, a real regular both in solo queue and seems to be making her way into the competitive scene. What were the major changes that really brought her back into that limelight again? Where is it because of that Juggernaut patch? Everyone's been picking up these Juggernauts. It's just really great to have that true damage to grip through, or was there something else that's brought her into that limelight, as I mentioned before?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Juggernaut patch has really made the tanks very prominent in competitive and both solo queue team play. So that Silver Bolt really does stack and rip through those tank lines, especially, the percentage health damage every 3 hits, and you get that attack speed, you get some R penetration items, even that IE, you can pop tanks, squishies, anything really. And Vayne is kind of a counter to Sivir in terms of her mobility and Sivir's lack of mobility. So we should see Vayne go for these split pushes and should very well bet a 1v1 either LeBlanc, Malute, or Nashi pair on their champions.
Nashipair now on the other side of things. Before he was versing a Sivir, now he is the Sivir. They're looking for, as we were mentioning before, you pick up Sivir, it's immediately going to be an engaged comp from that side. But it doesn't seem like they have it. The only real engager that they have is CM Sensei on that Rek'Sai. Maybe perhaps also that Yasuo as well, though he's someone that sort of wants to come in and clean up once there's been a fantastic knockup. Really good synergy between the two. Who are we looking to have Orianna put that ball delivery system on?
Orianna might place it on Rek'Sai, as you mentioned, or if Maluk can land a hook and then hook through into the back line with the Orianna ball on him, then it could be very, very good shockwave, but most likely might even just go for a zoning ball in terms of throwing it at the front line of fight vacuum pumps and leaving it there so they can't advance into this game comp that they have. There's such a threat of that AoE ultimate, the command shockwave, but Koenig picking up the Z, I mean, I don't know how I feel about this pick. Assassins kind of have been out of meta recently, but kind of coming back into it. And LeBlanc on that Orianna versus Z, Koenig, I mean, it's going to be extremely volatile and interesting matchup if Zed can really push this lane and carry, because Zed can really pop Nashi pair if he does get rolling.
Yeah, Zed definitely one of those champions who's sort of fallen out, but starting to make that comeback. That initial buff that I believe they made recently, they reduced it before he had a second once he used his ultimate. Now it's been changed from a second on and through to that half a second, which is roughly about a 50% buff, which is nothing to scoff at. Definitely that half a second really does make a difference. But Orianna, I mean, was that more of a reactionary pick to, just sort of help counter out the Zed, or was it picked up because it goes well with the theme of that team comp?
That's actually an interesting point you mentioned, because Orianna, in my eyes, it doesn't really fit into this comp properly in terms of there's no dedicated person to go in. I mean, Rek'Sai, yeah, he can go into the tunnel, but as fast as he goes in, he can get knocked away by this Gragas barrel on Chenny G. So quite interesting to see this pick and how they're going to use this Orianna with this team comp. I mean, it's a traditional speed up comp, with that Sivir, but they still lack the tank.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where people can say Rek'Sai is a tank, but he's not that traditional tank. He's more of that bruiser off tank, get in your face. If I get on your ADC, I'm going to kill you. Where he's not going to be one of those things, well, if I jump into your team, it's going to take you quite a few ultimates just to push me out of there.
Yeah, and a very interesting point I have to bring up here is that quiet vacuum pumps have kind of reversed their team comp roles in terms of they have the latest scaling comp now. They have the Vayne. They have that Rumble who scales up really well, and they have a traditional tank in the likes of Braum and Gragas. So they have the latest scaling comp. And although Yasuo and Orianna, they're both amazing late game champions, I feel like this Gragas and Braum are really going to just counter out them in this later game.
So really with that there, we've got these champions that can really deal with the big threats on the side of Karami Senpai. And looking at the major threats that you've got that equalizer from Rumble and, Vayne just being an all-round hyper carry. The other thing you need to look to, it's going to be kind of hard. Like, what's Zed's target here? I mean, do you go for the Yasuo because he's going to be someone that's going to be building pure damage? It's kind of annoying to go after Sivir because she can just spell shield the death mark. Orianna, again, she's got a ton of shields, even picking up with a summoner, added to the fact that she's probably going to CC you out the moment you pop out of your shadow. What's your target as Zed? Because he doesn't really have that many options.
Yeah, Zed can actually definitely opt for that Yasuo, as you mentioned, going to go full damage. LeBlanc going to opt for that Zonya's most likely because that is going to be in the itemization of Orianna. I mean, not too far off her item path and can very well hard counter that Zed. But a couple of QSSs and Zed kind of becomes nothing. I mean, that one item can really counter the champion, but one thing I have to bring up is that Rumble against Yasuo traditionally doesn't go for a Hex Drink, and if he does, it's going to slow down that static shiv build path.
Yeah, so really that Rumble being a good pick, considering that perhaps if they do go the Yasuo, which they have, it's going to be harder for him to really get rolling because he needs that Triforce and he really needs that static shiv and just slowing him down in that situation. The other thing that comes into it, how does Rumble actually match up against Yasuo? Because with that there, I mean, if he uses his Flame Splitter and it manages to land, that instantly takes away the shield. Will he be that traditional lane bully we know him to be?
Yasuo also is a lane bully, but Rumble, as you mentioned, Flame Splitter does negate that shield. It can pop it pretty much from a reasonable distance, and Rumble flicks rain very strong on that Rumble pick, as we've seen previously. That's that cloth armor. He's gonna have a sustained advantage, and he's gonna have the advantage in terms of damage if he does dodge out Malut in this top lane. But yeah, Malut does have the advantage in terms of mobility. He has that dash and that E, the sweeping blade, and can just dash with the whole minion wave, but there's not that much stuff to dodge from Rumble apart from his electric harpoons.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of dodging potential from what Rumble can throw out there. Rumble's going to like, I'm going to drop my equalizer. Let me just like move to the side. Well, I'm going to shoot out my harpoons. I'm going to move to the side, and it gets to that point because Rumble's not really that mobile. Sure, he gets a little bit of a speed boost when he pops his shield on, but he's going to be dealing with this Yasuo that's going to be darting left, right, and center. And then on top of all that, it might be pretty hard for him to get locked down unless Gragas really does come to help him. So would Gragas be making his way towards that top lane to sort of get the Rumble rolling, or should he be focusing around that mid lane, get Zed up and going?
Yeah, I mean, the past two games have seen Kenny G play, camped one the mid lane and two the bot lane, and he's really left Flex Rain to his own in terms of trusting him to 1v1 Malut in this top lane and outplay him, which he has done so far. I mean, that Hecarim game, he really stomped on Malut in that top lane and killed him time and time again. So we'll see what he does. He's probably going to leave Flex Rain to his own and gank that mid lane. If he can get Zed or Vayne snowballing, that's always going to be a good time.
As we can see there now, basically we have the pause undone. The game is about to start. All the champions are sitting there in their bases ready to run out onto the field. Seeing as last time there was so much action, let's get the introductions out of the way as quickly as possible. In the blue trunks we have Flex Reigns as Rumble, Chenny G as the big man Gragas, Cute Nectarine, the assassin from the shadows, Zed, Ouija on Vayne, she's also a lady from the shadows, and Alf Nikado on the Brom.
Yeah, and sporting the bridge side, Karami Senpai, we have Malut in that top lane, Yasuo, we have CM Sensei playing the queen of map control, Rek'Sai, we have LeBlanc playing Orianna, Nashi Pair EX playing Sivir, and Night Pizza playing that Thresh. And what we see right here is Fight Vacuum Pumps assumed an invade through this bot lane brush, and they're going to match the invade that Karami Senpai has done by putting down lane swap wards.
Yeah, with Karami Senpai sort of jumped on through doing the exact same thing that they did the last game. We want to throw this out there. We want to know what you're doing because we know Vayne is going to have issues against the Sivir early. We want to know if you're going to try and pull that lane swap on us because we do know that Rumble does fairly well in a lane swap situation in comparison to a Yasuo as well. What are you looking to do? Will they go for that, initiate that lane swap, or are they going to sit there? Because they were just sitting in that bush more worried about invade rather than a lane swap.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Vayne has a favorable matchup against Sivir, and as I say that, Sivir and her partner, Night Pizza, are walking towards that top lane, so they might opt for a lane swap, and this isn't a bad scenario for Vayne, because Vayne, she scales up to this mid-game, so either way, they kind of benefit. Yasuo, as I said, and as you said, sorry, has a harder time in the 1v2s, and I don't know how this is going to work out for the side of Karami Senpai.
Karami Senpai did get that early ward in there to sort of help them out so they know what's happening. They seem to be having Chenny G and Flex Reigns. They're doing their buddy system as well, as is Malut and CM Sensei. So we're going to be interested to see what they do. They're sent Sivir well and truly there now, so perhaps maybe they didn't want to deal with the Vayne, and they've initiated that themselves. So it's going to be one of those situations where it's the buddy system into picking up the farm when they go straight away. When in these situations, when do you send your support off to help the solo laner?
At this point, you either go for the 4-man dive bot lane with your top laner, or you send your support top lane and let your ADC 1v1 against the top laner of the enemy side. And since it's Vayne against Malute on that Yasuo, it's going to be a very hard matchup in terms of that one wall counteracting a lot of Vayne's power. But as we see here, we do something they call a vertical jungling in terms of going from the top side to the top side and the bot side to the bot side. And it's very strong in terms of being able to have the pressure on the right side of the map. Both top laners essentially conceding their lanes and not going for the lane swap because they know they need a dove. And it's going to be up to the sides to see which one gets the turret first, but so far it seems that Malute and Sensei have the jump on their team.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, I mean, sure, Ouija can sort of jump everything that's happening as well. When it comes to someone with raw pushing power, that advantage definitely goes to Sivir. So they'll probably find that they're going to rush down that bottom turret and then swap them down straight away. And as you can see, they've already hit the waves. They've also hit it on the side there, and pretty much it is just a one-for-one trade for both of these teams. They don't want to have any issues about trying to save something. You're going to do one thing, that's fine. We're going to trade on the other side of the map.
Very smart for the top laners, needed them to blow their teleports, because if they did, in fact, blow their teleports too early, they would have got 4-man dove and probably first blooded. So both teams knowing how to play this lane swap scenario right, and in the bot lane, very, very smart play. They're bouncing the wave properly and making sure that they do, in fact, leave the wave in a place that the top laners won't have to overextend their farm for.
In this situation, do you go straight for the dragon, or did you keep pushing?
Yeah, Dragon is one of the advantages of being on the bot side, and they actually have opted against it, which is quite interesting, seeing as they do have that additional advantage. But yeah, towards the mid lane, Kunitharian's kind of dictating this lane, has 3 pots still in full health, whilst LeBlanc having issue farming here, will actually match the farm there, but having issues in terms of sustainability.
Yeah, that basically using that energy has been very effective boon for Zed or Cute Nectarine in this matchup. And he seems to be playing, his champion pool seems to be very aggressive. I mean, he likes to go for that Lulu, very early lane bully. Had an Aurelia before, showing us he can be done against an Azir. How do you reckon he'll play on the Zed? He'll be pretty good chasing down, or will it be something that, you know, maybe it's not what he should be playing?
Well, as you mentioned, Zed matches his champ pool and his champ portfolio in terms of aggressive champions and really punishing the enemy laner, and so far he's really showing and keeping true to his name in terms of punishing. So very, very smart play there, but CM Sensei may look towards the mid lane for a gank.
Yeah, he seems to be posturing around there as well. Zed's a very slippery character. He can basically just throw Shadow out and get on out of there. In the top lane, though, Malute's not having a fun time. He seems to be getting pushed out by the Rumble, which we all know is a very big lane bully as well, falling on HP. But he seems to be jumping on there. That's as he's flow procs to shield straight away, so he's not going to take too much damage when walling the rest of it away. He's probably going to back on out of there now to make sure he can get himself healthy again. He does have that teleport to blow, but it's not something that you really want to do. But Rumble, he's so aggressive up there. Alpha Nikado, though, he's also jumping onto Night Pizza. There goes the concussive blows, gets the stun. There, gets knocked into the wall. Chenny G follows it up as well. No tower for protection. First blood to Vayne. That's one person you don't want to go into. Yeah,
Vayne, as you mentioned, not who you wanted to go on the side of Camry Senpai. Get Vayne going, and he's extremely, extremely scary. Well, she, sorry, is extremely, extremely scary. And why is she, as we've seen before, a very good Vayne player? I mean, managing to go toe-to-toe with Mundane Melon on that Tristana, so kind of tested and proven in terms of that champion.
Yeah, she's got that 10 CS up as well, which is something that Sivir is not going to like at all. She's gone through and bought up 2 extra Doran Blades. Be interesting to see what Vayne's going for. She's still in the lane at the moment, probably going, let me just hang around a little bit more. I want to get my Bilge Water on my first back. Whenever you see a Vayne on her first back get Bilge Water, it's a very, very scary moment for you.
Yeah, Vayne with Bilge Water can essentially trade without having to think, because she has that lifesteal, you know, at her fingertips, and Vayne sitting on almost 2k gold at this point, has so much money in her pockets, and that first back's going to be extremely scary for Sivir.
Looking across the map, we do have CM Sensei just looking to see what he can do there. Chenny G, as per usual, dictating the pace of the game, getting that first blood for Ouija. Malute, he's jumping on there. Sorry, Malute, he's jumping straight onto Flex Rain. Managed to trade back some effective damage. He seems to have the minion wave at the moment at his fingertips there. Does it at some point will he push him back? I mean, look at the amount of CS though. 16 to 38. Should it be that far up?
Well, the way that it worked in top lane is that the wave got bounced so efficiently that Malute had the CS advantage because the wave was pushing into him. Night Beast actually goes here, but Kenny G's actually in the bush.
Yeah, Night Beast is going straight for him there now with Cute Nectarine going on through, but he's going to get out of there. There goes the pop on the Death Mark. Not much happening there. Shinji sort of helping him out of that situation, making sure that CM Sensei, LeBlanc, and Night Pizza don't blow him up completely. And that's just basically going to be a trade of summoners there. Flash for Chenny G, Ignite for Cute Nectarine, and really a flash for Night Pizza. So a bit of a massive advantage in terms of summoners going towards Carry Me Senpai.
Yeah, as you mentioned, very, very advantageous play there by Carry Me Senpai, sorry. But as I mentioned before, Flex Rain doesn't want to push out this top lane because there's no turret. He's susceptible to dive, sorry. There's no turret for him to sit under, so he's going to wait for this wave to kind of push towards him, make Malute overextend, and it's going to be very advantageous for him the longer this wave pushes into him, because if it's near his turret, Malute's so susceptible to dives by, sorry, not dives, just ganked by Kenny G, and he's going to be hitting 6 soon. But looking towards YG here in the bot lane, he still hasn't fought, and it's nearly 9 minutes, and that's just so bad if you're laning, because you have a lot of unbought items that really could snowball this lane a bit harder.
It may look like you are in control of the game, but you're not really, not until you've gone back and actually spent that money. And he goes through straight away. He manages to pick up a Berserker Greaves and the Bilge Water, so a nice big advantage for him in the bot lane, really helping him get to get through that mid lane sort of annoyances that Vayne has to deal with and get there quite fast. Looking on through their double D-Blade for Yasuo, he seemed to be a little bit worried that he was going to get too bullied out, but now he's following through by picking up that Avarice Blade going towards the Shiv. Is it because he was scared that he decided to slow down the build, or he was just playing it smart, maybe trying to snowball something from that?
Yeah, I think he was trying to really snowball this early game advantage that Flex Rain should have by getting another damage item like a Doran's Blade, sorry. Pardon me. But yeah, Doran's Blade offering that extra damage, and Malute getting that farm advantage from that early damage that he has got, and that wave, as you look at the top lane, is pushing into Malute. So it's going to be very advantageous for him.
He's going to sit there in the bush now, just waiting on through for someone to jump into his snares there. And pretty much with that, he can freeze this lane now. He's the one that can start building up that CS. The good job by Flex Rain to sort of catch up there, even after letting that massive wave jump into him. He hasn't really caught up. And this whole time, Malute's been allowed to back, maybe pick up an extra camp of experience. And so he should be up instead of just, letting it freeze into him. He wants to go aggressive.
Yeah, big buy here by Flex Rain actually picking up that Seeker's Arm Guard. Trinity going over a ward there, so they do know that the group towards this mid lane turret. LeBlanc should have the wave clear available to actually clear this wave, but they look towards the dragon. Yeah,
they do have a lot of control of the dragon. No wards there on the side there, but there is that Void Rush coming on through from Rek'Sai. Basically, CM Sensei doesn't want to give this up without a fight, but they've got no position on it. This is just a free dragon going on through to buy it backwards.
Yeah, Weijie and team doing a very good job so far, getting that objective that I was saying they need that early objective. Connecting does dodge away the hook very nicely there in the mid lane, and they might go dive onto the Sivir here.
Showing us the mad skills in that situation. Sivir, they're very hard to dive. Even if you try to see her up, she's got that spell shield just to negate any form of engage onto her. So she just quietly walks away. Oh, there's some champions here, no worries, I'll get on out. Night Pizza and CM Sensei join the frame. There's the on the hunt. They're going after Ouija. Then Malute is here as well. He just teleported in. Where's the tactic knock up straight away into the last grab? There's the teleport falling on through from Rumble as well, but he's a bit late. He probably shouldn't let that go on through. He's guys hailing on out of there. Alpha Ducato, he's in trouble. LeBlanc comes on through. Double kill for Sivir. Jenny G now is also getting picked up by Malute. There goes the equalizer pick up there, but it burns on through and takes him out. Now it seems to be Nashi Pair versus Flexi Rain. So Cute Nectarine joins the fight. He jumps on through his head, drops Nashi Pair, but LeBlanc has joined the fray as well, and they managed to pick up Cute Nectarine as well, and finishing off Flexi Rain. A nice big trade there going on through. Basically, all the teams coming across 3-5 in the favor of Karami Senpai, sort of pushing on through and getting that advantage they seem to be lacking this whole time. They're now up in gold 17-6.
Yeah, I was actually about to mention that it wasn't like the way that Karami Senpai were playing thus far, because they hadn't turned it on this early to mid game. And I was going to say that they're outscaled, but I was just proven wrong there by the engage that they've made very well, and helped by CM Sensei there, really catalyzed that fight with that flash unburrowed and knocked them all up. And That TP by Flex Rain was a bit too late there to actually really help.
Yeah, well, they just seem to be on the same page there as a team, Karami Senpai. That teleport was perfect timing. He was walking into the fight as he flashed, knocked him up into the air, straight away into that last breath. Armor penetration down, you are going to die. And from that there, they picked up this nice little lead that they can start to sort of snowball as well, but they're still not out of the danger zone yet. They can still be outscaled, purely based on the fact that, yeah, they've got a lead, but it's not that big, and we are 12 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the lead is pretty decent, but it's not unfathomable in terms of the way that Karami Senpai can in fact throw this still, and they can get outscaled. But right now, they're doing their best job at trying to seize down the split lane turret, but to no success because they are versing Oriana, who can wave clear with that blue buff. Trinity doing a very good job of clearing out these wards that Night Pizza is in fact putting down a very good pink on that side of the wall to kind of negate vision on that side, but 33 versus Malut, and he's up 2 levels.
Yeah, that's something you do not want to go up against. That's basically because of the early roam that they had before. Lute now just picking up his other level, now 9. But CM Sensei, he's here now. He's going to see if he can get a catch on there. But there we go. He jumps onto Malut with his death mark. But Night Pizza's there, ready to join him on through. He misses the death sentence because he's able to use the shadow to get away. But he still has the team chasing after him. But they saw that Rumble was coming up afterwards, and he was going to be there to protect. They figured, you know what? Let's just let the Zed go. He's such a slippy character. It's like trying to catch shadows.
Zed is in fact slippery, and that was a very good indication of what Zed is like. I mean, right?
But Pizza's there now. He's just been caught into the wall. Fantastic little knock up there by LeBlanc, but he gets pushed away by the explosive cast. That Pizza falls. Ouija's on there as we go. CM Sensei is jumping on in to see if he can knock away. Flashed away by Ouija now. This tower in the mid lane probably going to fall. Night Pizza has gone on down. A lot of cooldowns blown on the side of Karami Senpai, and nice little advantages have been picked up. Now they've managed to even the score up 4-5.
Yeah, and another kill on Vayne, and this is going to turn to a very dangerous game soon if you keep giving her the kills, because she's going to be able to finish up this Bork very soon, and she does have the money to buy it now. So Bork is finished up before that IE on the other side. Now she pair down gold here, and this is very scary because Vayne in this mid to late game is going to be very, very hard to kill with that mobility and has a lot of damage on squishies.
Yeah, it's sort of the saving grace at the moment seems to be on Malut. He's got that static shift built up there now, so he's got his first item, Power Spike. And the thing is, as we mentioned, Karami Senpai are the ones that are at risk of being outscaled by quad vacuums. This is something they need to worry about. And really, like, in this situation, who do you have to deal with Zed? Who do you send there when he begins his split push? It's they don't really seem to have an answer other than sending Rek'Sai, but even then eventually he'll get outscaled.
As you mentioned, there's no answer to Zed. I mean, even LeBlanc may have some issues. She does have that Zonya, at her disposal to kind of counteract some of that damage, but there's still so much raw damage coming through from Q Nectarine, just through auto attacks, through that Living Shadows, coupled with those shurikens. So we'll see what they do to kind of counteract the Zed, but he can pretty much essentially infinitely split push against what seems like Malut. Going to be the answer.
And you don't really want to send Oriana after Cute Nectarine. The reason why you don't want to send LeBlanc after that is because you want her to be grouped up. You want her to be landing those massive shockwaves that brings the whole team down, chunks them out, and just makes that team fight a lot easier. If you're setting off to deal with a split pusher, she's not going to be an advantage with that anyway. But the big problem is that Malut, he may be up in CS against Rumble, but he's not up in CS against Zed. Zed's got he has a few extra assists, but at the end of the day, I mean, 3 assists versus an extra 20 CS, which, you know, at the end of the day, he's going to assassinate you.
Exactly.
Is it really going to be something he can actually handle?
Exactly, and Malut hasn't itemized any resistances in his build so far, so he's going to be very, very squishy on that champion. I mean, a lot of damage, sure, but very squishy, and Q3 is probably having no issues with assassinating him. Flex Rain and Malut both have the teleports available, so there may be a very, very big point of contention as the Baron
teleports coming on through as well, but seems another situation where Karami Senpai are just giving up that dragon. They don't want to start a fight. And they take the easy dragon. There's a little balls just saying, hey, no, we are here still. And they're sort of going, well, maybe you should contest the dragon. How about that? And they walk away.
That TP was a bit preemptive. I mean, there was no indication of an engage coming through there, and he could have held it on for a little bit more. Malut didn't bring that TP. I mean, they did get the dragon number 2, looking towards that dragon number 5, win condition, and definite help in scaling, but Yeah, there was no rush to burn that TP, and he just went a bit early.
So that's sort of same sort of situation happening again, where Malut's happy to go on through, but CM Sensei's jumped onto Jenny G that he manages to get the knockup just on the bare moment of the hitbox. Cute Nectarine's chasing after Blue. There he goes, flash into the death mark, on through there. He's going to chase on after that. CM Sensei in the middle with Night Pizza. There's a big fight there. There's the shockwave. Alpha kind of falls almost instantaneously. Jenny G is also in trouble. Flash by Nashi Pair takes him on out. Malute, where did you come from? I thought you had a Z on your tail, and he just happens to walk right back into the fight. Nice backups across there, just kicks going on through.
There's so much burn on Malute there. I mean, both the Equalizer and the Death's Mark were burnt to try to kill Malute there, but Malute lived in the end. So very wasteful by the side of Quiet Vacuum Pumps, and that kind of bit them in the ass there because they did lose 2 members for pretty much nothing.
Yeah, and also with that there, the mid tower falling right on afterwards as well, so a little pressure relieved for them as well. And I guess that's what you're looking for. I mean, you want them to burn summoners and cooldowns that they think that's going to get them the kill. Look for that pick potential and then just counter it. But again, it's one of those things where they're supposed to be the proactive ones. They're not supposed to be looking for mistakes. They're supposed to be forcing mistakes. And in that situation, yeah, they got lucky, but will they continue to do that? Will Quiet Vacuums continue to let them, you know, sort of get back these sort of early leads that they've had before? Because at the end of the day, they are 2k up, but the outscale still goes towards them.
Yeah, exactly. As you mentioned, the outscale does still go towards Quiet Vacuums, and as long as they don't throw too hard in this mid-game and give too much of a lead away, they have the late game to look forward to, and Weijie wasn't at that fight at all, and they still only made it out with 2 deaths, so I guess it could have been a lot worse than what happened, but still not an ideal situation.
Zed making his way down into the bottom lane there, just get on through, start his split pushing up. I'm not sure if he wants to be there because that seemed to be a very heavily watered area, and he's seemed to be expiring as well. As we say that sort of the Christmas lights just popping it out. Void Rush back into the map just to keep that under control as well. But really, that's not one place Civil wants to be. As Zed rolling down on you is not a good place to be. He seems to be backing away now as well. They might be making their way towards that Baron. It is up in the next 10 seconds, possibly go for a sneak.
Yeah, they could have stuck that Baron potentially, I mean, up in 10 seconds as you mentioned, but they don't have that much of a fast Baron comp. They have a Vayne, that's true, but they have a top lane Rumble who doesn't offer much damage. They should go on Malute.
There's the Equalizer coming on through. Malute taking a lot of damage. He seems to be jumping on through again, but there's not much he can do there. Alpha Nakado helping out, and an easy kill going on through to flex range there. Just a bit of a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time there. Nice easy kill, and probably going to pick up another objective, so there's troubles. Instantly equalizing that gold lead that they basically had given away before.
Yeah, I'm going to turn into a top lane turret as well. You see Tunic Green in the bot lane really pulling the resources and doing a very good job as all the members of the side of carrying Senpai are walking towards him, and he obviously realized that and walked back. So a very good indicator of a good split push player is knowing when to back out, knowing when to walk forward.
Yeah, they're trying to see if they can catch them out there. They do have that ward. There goes the TP coming from a loop there. CM Sensei, he's jumped on through, but there is the massive knockup that Braum has, pushing them away, and that team fight has been wasted, and a TP has been wasted for the ultimate of Braum.
And actually, Tunic Green might be getting this bot lane turret for nothing after that TP was going on the top side of the map, and their rotation is going to be fast enough, and Nashi Pair X might walk here, but might get killed for his troubles, and no, Tunic Green does get scared off by one member, does see CM Sensei walk towards that blue potentially, so smart decision, and does get that turret probably in a bit later on.
Glacial Fissure now just needs another about 45 seconds to get back in there, so it's not really too much of a big loss, but that teleport's going to be taking about 5 minutes to get back up, so a big cooldown burnt there for them. And as you mentioned, a lot of damage on that bottom tower by Chenny G as well, really that he can split push and just taking advantage of the situation. Now it seems to be more like they've swapped sides. We're going to kite back against our team every time there seems to be a big engage, and just let Cute Nectarine take the objectives.
The Tunic Green doing a very good job getting that farm funneled into him and pushing that bot lane, nearly going to finish out that Ghost Blade, which is going to even add more damage to him. And if he couldn't kill Malute before, he could definitely kill him now with that Ghost Blade about to be finished up. We see YG going for that Stick Shiv, maybe an IE, a Bloodthirster, or a Ghost Blade after, who knows. We usually see Ghost Blade second item, so probably a Last Whisper, maybe a Bloodthirster here, but it's going to be very interesting. And Alf Nakado looks like he's gonna go for a Righteous Glory second item.
Yeah, it's still great. That Righteous Glory has been hitting a lot of nerfs recently, essentially, where, they go like, okay, let's get rid of some HP. All right, let's get rid of the fact that it, has the Catalyst effect on it. After kind of getting death sentenced as well, but not the real person that you actually want to catch in that situation. He's probably just going to stand behind someone and then walk away. But in that situation there as well, they're going to see if they can pick someone up. There's another death sentence out just being tumbled away by Vayne as well. Basically now they're posturing around this dragon. It's up now, and this is the third dragon if the red team can pick it up. So the blue team definitely want to make sure... Oh, sorry, this is the third dragon if the blue team picks it up. So this is something that the red team definitely want to contest because that movement speed's so important.
Yeah, and both teams, as you mentioned, posturing around. Flex Rain does have that TP at his disposal and giving up the high ground in terms of being in the pit, being in and around the pit, and wards being placed left and right, making the pick up way there.
Been caught there, and he jumps up in there. Wow, that's fantastic. Next through with the last rep, followed through with that wombo combo coming from Oriana. Malou now has jumped onto Alpha Nakado. He has to flash away and use his exhaust to get on out of there. And then that situation, they pick up a kill onto Luigi as well. There's not much they can do, but cute Nectarine, he's like, no worries, you team fight, I've split pushed. Let me just go through and get some infrastructure down off the map. And as we have Night Pizza going through to defend, there's LeBlanc. He manages to also come on through. There's the catch in the death sentence. Dragon has fallen as well. Flex Rain's in trouble. He tries to catch LeBlanc. She pops those Zonias to get on out of there. Cute Nectarine. Oh, there's people here. I'm going to move to the top lane now. Let's just get these towers down and out of the way. And looks like they're sending the Sivir to deal with it. And Night Pizza as well making a way just to sort of instill that bit of fear in God into Zed.
Yeah, although Cute Nectarine does have that farm, he's really lacking impact on this game. I mean, he is pushing these turrets, but he pushed mid, he pushed bot, and he hasn't got either of those turrets either time. So, really lacking his presence in these fights. And Weijie getting caught there, a bit over-ambitious to walk forwards as he did against a Thresh, but definitely paid the price with his life.
Yeah, I mean, all he really has to show for it is that extra 50 CS with the Ghost Blade finished and the Blade of the Ruined King. Now, maybe perhaps, it's one of those points where, well, if these guys decide to go for another major fight, there's going to be a lot of infrastructure falling across the board and a lot of global gold going for his team. 5-9 now, they're up about 2k again in this situation. But still, no one can really deal with the Zed. He just seems to walk in and walk out. Sure, they're losing team fights across the map, but it's not really been translated into any major objectives. They've managed to pick up, they get a team fight, they'll trade an objective. They'll get another team fight, they'll trade a dragon. Or they'll get a free dragon out of it. But at the end of the day, they're not the one, they're not scaling that hard. So is it enough gains for them to win this game, or what's happening there for them?
Well, every time we've seen the side of quiet vacuum pumps make a quote-unquote throw, actually I say that, they're going for the Baron.
Oh my god, as they go for the Baron, there seems to be all rewarded up there. They're going for it very quickly as well, forcing him a sec. There goes the equalizer, but Zed's in the bottom lane. Now they've managed to pick him up there. Alpha Nakado, he's in trouble, instantly blown up there. Wow, that damage from there is a lot as well. And now they're going to pick up another few champions for their trouble. LeBlanc did follow that situation, 2-for-1 trade. Chenny G is here as well. But that whole time, Cute Nectarine, he's taken out. Weiji jumps through with his ultimate. Malute is there as well. He seems to be in trouble because Chenny G's on his face. CM Sensei, he's like, no worries, buddy, I got your back. But Weiji, he seems to be kiting on through. An extra kill goes to him there. Weiji now jumping onto Malute, and he picks that up as well. Malute falls, double kill for Vayne. And this whole time, Cute Nectarine has been pushing on through. He manages to get the inhibitor turret, but in that situation there, it was definitely a favorable trade for Quiet Vacuums.
Yeah,
what went wrong?
They brought the gold back within 600, sorry, which is really nothing at this point. I mean, especially for a scaling comp, so very, very smart play there. And as you mentioned, Q Nectarine really getting the infrastructure on this push, but forcing a Baron after you just cleared the ward is very, very ambitious. And I've seen one too many games thrown through the Baron call, and that was pretty much a scenario where you shouldn't have took the Baron, especially with such a team that was close in terms of just around the corner, and they really paid for it in terms of a 3-for-1 in that fight.
A bit of a desperation move there. They realized Zed was pushing them too thin, and they figured we need to go now. And as you mentioned, they have paid for it. That dragon not going to be up anytime soon. Probably another 2.5 minutes. We need to wait until that's there. Then these teams are sort of even on out again, and that Zed straight away back into that bottom lane. He's like, I've opened it up. He sees gold when it comes through, but now he's popped his Ghost Blade to get away from Night Pizza as well. There's the flay coming on through. Manages to get a nice slow, but Oh, the hook manages to land on a mini, and now they go, yep, you've sent 2 people down there. This is how you take a Baron. The wards are being cleared out, and you've got too many people on the bottom of the map, so it's us for us to take. Will they end up getting this? There's a teleport coming through from Aludo. And he's going to be jumped straight onto it. There's Last Row, picks him out. Lots of damage onto Flex Rain and onto Aftercado. He's still going. Flex Rain falls. Aftercado falls. Ouija's in trouble. Nice shockwave. He gets hit away. He gets taken down by an attack. Command from LeBlanc. And the damage has gone through. Wow, that Baron throw, as you mentioned, has really made a big change. But Jenny G, he's still on the backside. He's going to try and see if he can take that around. Cute Nectarine's going, who cares about team fights? I'm going straight for that inhibitor down the bottom lane there. Will we get the steal and will we get the inhibitor? He jumps on in there. He hasn't got managed to get the steal. He dies though, so it's going to be a Baron for an inhibitor, but there is 4 players dead on the side of Quiet Vacuums. And sure, they managed to pick up this inhibitor, but maybe Cute Nectarine might not get away because they're rushing down. They got that empowered exist. There they go on through. CM Sensei goes straight. Flash blown by Cute Nectarine. The left sentence lands and he has been picked up as well. No, there's the death mark. But it is gone. He gets popped before he can pop his own death mark. Gets the inhibitor, sure, but now there's a Baroned up team. Do they have what they need now to just really push through, or will that inhibitor be enough to slow them down?
Both teams, please stop doing Barons. I mean, both teams had their turns and they both threw. I mean, they started the Baron, Ouija wasn't there to really chunk down the Baron with the silver bolts, and they paid for it as well. So, very unfortunate there by the side of Pumps, and Karami Senpai, both making ambitious, really, Baron calls. And although it might work in an unorganized team, they both know what was happening and they kind of paid with their lives. A really big factor in that Baron, was that Malut TP'd in there with the third Q, already charged up. So we got a 3-man ultimate off and lived long enough to get that damage through and get them off the Baron. So very, very good job there by Malut and team to really get through and do some damage there.
Did he manage to walk out with his life as well, or was he one of the few to fall from his team?
I think he did manage to walk out. I'm not quite sure. I think he actually died on the back end of it to YJ, but LeBlanc did get some vengeance on and killed YJ on that vein with a shockwave at the end of that fight.
Yeah, I mean, that was a nice shutdown goal for her. I remember seeing that 405 pop on through into her pockets. She seems to have finished now she's got her Zonias. She's also got her Chalice as well with a needlessly large rod. Probably look for that to be transforming into a Rabadon's Death Cap as soon as possible. Really have a massive potential when that shockwave hits, because now she's taken us to that point, well, if we misplace ourselves, that shockwave is going to chunk us.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Oriana, as I mentioned, a late game scaling monster. I mean, she does so much damage. Those QWs, if you do hit it onto YJ on that vein, she's gonna get popped extremely fast. Pushing in this bot lane here, but as per usual, as we're used to seeing, Q3 in that top lane, looking like he's gonna split push.
He was about to back there, but he's like, oh no, wait, they're still there, no worries. Let me just keep on going through, take this. You take that turret, I'll take this turret. But there we go, there's on the hump up. There's Night Pizza, he managed to catch Alpha Mikado. Equalizer lands in the middle of the team fight, but doesn't seem to be doing much. Alpha Mikado has fallen there. There we go, also losing Night Pizza. Chenny G, he's in trouble now as the team is jumping across. He seems to flash and then body slam over the wall, but he's now decided to pick up that turret. But look at Q Nectarine, he's already managed to do what they've done, and he's on towards the inhibitor turret. Now they're trying to back to get away, but they've got the team stopping them. Flex Reigns, he's in trouble. CM Sensei trying to get back in there, but Ouija's forced him off. There's a flash just to stop that Boomerang. Malut has got back into the fight. He's jumping onto Chenny G, but this whole time, he's been in that top lane trying to get it. Will he get the inhibitor? He's up against CM Sensei. He's just going to walk away nice and happily and not deal with that. And now the pressure seems to be back onto Quiet Vacuum. They have the man advantage down that lane, and they're going to push on through. So Zed's trying to back away now. There's a nice little flash there just to avoid getting hit by the Winter's Bite, and now they're going to back off as well. So even though in that situation it seemed to favor Karami Senpai, I honestly feel that Q Nectarine came out on top. He managed to get 2 turrets there.
Yeah, Q Nectarine did in fact get 2 turrets, and I was surprised to see he didn't actually go for that inhibitor. I mean, he could have just brute forced that inhibitor down. There's no objectives like Baron or Dragon on the map for them to contest, so even dying 1 for that inhibitor would have been well worth it. Could have brute forced that against the Rek'Sai that's going full tank, but obviously valuing his life and saying I'll get it some other time.
And he's backed away from that situation. It's not like he's really got any shutdown gold he needs to worry about as well. He's 1-2 at the moment. Purely, he's decided to play Malute in this game. Malute decided to go the other way around and go, okay, I need to be in team fights now. He's also fairly big at the moment. He's finished that Triforce static shift combination, and he's also picked up the Bloodthirster. Why not a Blade of the Ruined King?
Bloodthirster, as I mentioned, is extremely strong in terms of against high damage burst, because it does have that thirst passive that gives you a 300 400 bonus shield if you stack it up before the fights, and also just overall equally as much as Bloodthirster. But there's no tanks that he really wants to cut through. That is, no percentage damage on hit that he needs that his ult doesn't already give in terms of armor penetration.
So in this situation, he's probably picked it up to be that answer against Q Nectarine to make sure, he can actually has a stands a fighting chance against him. But he does have that teleport, and it's versing an Ignite, so he's going to have a hard time there. Also, Rumble trying to move on up to see if he can make something happen there. 10 to 18 at the moment, 50 gold to 56. So there seems to be an advantage, or a really big full advantage on the side of Karami Senpai, but it just doesn't feel like it at the moment. It seems all of the map pressure is in favor of Quiet Vacuums. Is this purely because of the Zed, or is it because of the whole team?
Well, split pushing isn't a solo thing, it's a team thing in terms of the fact that Zed does split push, and it seems like he's doing all the work. His team is to make sure they don't disengage, don't get engaged on, and they've done a pretty good job so far. They've traded kills back. Chiniji's did a very good job with these barrels, trying to disengage, and Weijie and Alpha Mikado doing their best job at disengaging with this, with a stand behind me, and with that glacial fissure, sorry. So it's a team effort in terms of split pushing, and done a good job at controlling the map so far, even with such a big goal deficit.
Yeah, they've managed to get that inhibitor in the bottom lane to respawn as well, giving a little bit of extra breathing room on that side there for Karami Senpai. There's the flask coming on through. They don't really land at that. There's a good shockwave, but it only gets Alpha Mikado as well there. There we go. Nectarines jumped onto CM Sensei. He's in trouble as well, but he still seems to be going shut down on Malute jumps into the fight, but he gets blown up instantly. He just charged into 5 people, and they turn. And now they're jumping towards LeBlanc here. He's the one in trouble, and he's not much he can do. Zed finally entering the fray, picking up a double kill for his team, and really destroying Malute very quickly there. What was the go button that really chose to say, this is our time to go, this is our time to really take care of everything, as they go straight for those inhibitors?
I mean, Chinichi had a pretty good blast. I mean, only hitting 1-2 people there. The hit LeBlanc, out of safety, and the shockwave only hit 1 person, so 2 big ults. Burn essentially doing nothing, and that's the big throw that I was looking toward, and giving kills again over to YJ, giving him the free breathing room that he got last fight really meant he could get the damage through, So yeah, very good job there, and actually an engagement might come through again.
Yeah, CM Sensei jumping in there, but he doesn't seem to be doing much. He gets killed there in that situation, and re-engaged back on the enemy team there. Weijie just jumping onto Nashipair to fight that, but he falls to LeBlanc. Nashipair's in trouble. There he goes. There's a shockwave, but doesn't seem to hit him with Flexi Rain. Trying to run away, but the attack command gets him. Triple kill for Oriana there, and they seem to have made it like, okay, we've lost 2 inhibitors here, but at least we can pick up the Baron because we've managed to ace them. So again, they've bought themselves that breathing room that we like to talk about. But, I mean, at what cost there? But they've lost 2 inhibitors now. This Baron does help them, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah, as you mentioned, they do in fact have lost 2 inhibitors as a massive wave pushes them to the bot lane, but it will be wave cleared across by CM Sensei most likely, and Night is going to be taken pretty low, but they do get this Baron, and this Baron does negate a lot of that inhibitor damage, because if you stand next to a minion wave, Baron minions do more damage than inhibitor minions in terms of every minion in that wave is strong. So I guess it's a worthwhile trade, but let's see if they can test for this dragon.
Well, the other issue that you need to have a champion in those lanes in order to make sure that you have them stronger. So, I mean, having those champions, that means you have to spread out how thin your team is. And although that may be advantageous because you want to have someone dealing with Zed, he can probably just assassinate you, so what can you do there? Sure, they picked up the Baron, but they've also lost another dragon as well, that all-important 3rd buff going on through to them there. And now they've picked up that movement speed that every team loves to pick up on the 3rd dragon.
Yeah, movement speed to engage, movement speed to disengage is very utility-based buff, and funnily enough, the team that has Baron buff is getting it sieged onto right now. We're going to look towards that bot lane inhibitor, get the 3 inhibitor push, and
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, they just have that advantage of this inhibitors is down there. There's the supers going on through, and you have to deal with it. And there is no tower to defend either. So, I mean, this is essentially do or die right now for Karami Senpai. They still have this game. They still have the previous game that they had won beforehand. So it's not like if they lose this, they're out of the tournament. The real pressure is on Quiet Vacuums at the moment because if they lose, if they do that massive throwing out, that's the game tournament done for them there. But they're well and truly in control at the moment. And they managed to catch Alpha Nakado as well. He takes a lot of damage. Stand behind me to get on out of there. No major cooldowns bought either way. But this is pretty much going to stop this siege now because if Alpha Nakado is low, he gets instantly blown up. No Glacial Frizzer. That's pretty much that team fight done for them. So they're just going to back away.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice, by Alpha Nakado to actually back out there post the engage. I mean, there was opportunity for a Glacial Fissure and force an engage, but obviously the team of Quiet Vacuum Pumps deciding against it because they do have that Baron on the side of Karami Senpai, so gonna wait that out, get their buffs, get their items, and just really wait till they're on an even playing field.
Yeah, now they got that Six Harbinger also finished for Nashi Pair and Night Pizza as well, so they're going to be charging themselves on up. They really seem to like that item there. What's with the Six Harbinger? I know it was nerfed this patch, but is it something that it's just, I've got explicit trust in my ADC. I believe it's good for him there because is there better items for the support to pick up?
Well, the thing is, Zeke's Harbinger really enhances your ADC in terms of it makes him carry harder. It's like a win more item in terms of if your AD carry is carrying, get a Zeke's Harbinger, he'll carry harder because he has that 50% increased crit chance. And I think researchers have done, Zeke's Harbinger gives 1.5k in terms of stats, and that's from your support giving stats to your ADC. So it's a very strong item. On Sivir, less than others because Sivir really struggles to get in there and get the damage done. But on Tristana, as we saw last game, it really helped her carry the game and really close out the game. But as I stated, they're pushing into the bot lane.
Yeah, that Baron buff has been finished as well, so they seem to just be casually walking up to that inhibitor as well. There we have Yasuo. He's like, oh god, I need to head back on down there as well to stop any fights from happening. There's the Death Sentence missing there. Flex Rain seems to be chasing on in as well. And at the moment, that Zeke's Harbinger just doesn't seem to be really charged up. There's another Death Sentence that's going to miss as well. Jenny G just simply walking away from that as well. CM Sensei wants to pick something up. There's on the hump that's been popped, but nothing seems to be really going for it. Nine Piece is going for it. There's another missed Death Sentence. A lot of cutting back on the sides there of Quiet Vacuums, and now they can go. There goes the Equalizer. It's a very good one. The team up. CM Sensei, he's in trouble. He gets deleted. Now First Red jumps on him. Malud, he gets Death Mark as well. He's trying to get away, but he gets picked up. Double kill. Nectarine getting on out of the Nashi pair now. It's his turn, but he gets a double kill there. Onto Vayne, triple kill in that situation. That must have been that proc coming on through for him at the very end, and a lot of damage. He saves the team fight. He's 9-2-17. When did he get all these kills?
Yeah, that was very surprising there because what seemed like a very advantageous start of a fight ended up not working out in their favor because what happened was the On the Hunt was burned. Okay, yeah, good. Peel back, wait for it to finish out, and then re-engage. But the re-engage was really weak in terms of the Glacial Fissure only hit one person, the carries were untouched. I mean, YJ was doing so much work on that front line on that Vayne, I mean, really shredding through them, but that gave a lot of breathing room for LeBlanc and Nashi pair there to get the damage done, and Sivir not really known for being a late game carry, but right now, she's doing so much work.
Yeah, it seems to be a pause coming on through there. Maybe there was a bit of a mishap in the team fight that caused that, but it really doesn't seem like that was the case. It really was, we positioned to go for the kill or Nashi pair. She just landed a fantastic boomerang blade followed by a ricochet, and the two were deleted. And then she picked up a triple kill. And as you mentioned, she's not really that, that typical hyper carry that everyone has, but she has so much burst in a short amount of time that if you misposition in that situation, you're going to get dropped. And she's got that Infinity Edge, she's got the Bloodthirster, that Phantom Dancer, as well as the Last Whisper, and she seems to be going towards her GA now, that last defensive item, so that Zed just can't go in there and destroy her. But at the end of the day, she still has that spell shield as well, so it's not like the Death Mark's going to take her out.
Yeah, and we see YJ on the other side of that has an Infinity Edge to do that damage that Vayne can deal out. Has that not the Bloodthirster, the Blade of the Ruined King, and that Static Shove. But as you mentioned, behind a damage item on Nashi Pair EX here, gonna opt for maybe the Banshee's Veil here, not really wanting to get hit and do as much damage as he has been receiving via LeBlanc on that Orianna, or even from a Tornado coming through from Malute. So very smart itemization there, and really gonna help him position and defend himself better in these fights.
Looking on through there, 2 towers left as well for Carry Me Senpai. The inhibitors have respawned, so basically now the pressure has been put off, and you have to admit now the morale will probably be very down on the side of Quiet Vacuums. They've been dominating this whole game. They thought they had that ending, sucker punch that they thought that was going to finish the game, and then out of the blue, boom, no, you have been essentially wiped off the board. Cute Nectarine, the only one left to sort of fight in that situation, and he didn't even really want to fight because all his cooldowns are down. No flash, no ignite, no death mark either, so he wasn't going to be able to go jump onto Nashi Pear. She'll just auto attack, like, thank you very much, Zed, let me auto attack you into infinity, and she would have gone there as well. So now that this is sort of falling on through, what is the next plan of attack for Quiet Vacuum? Can they actually engage and fight them now? Because it seems that they can't.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it seems as if they can't engage and make these fights, although they have all the tools necessary. They have Kenny G here, disengage / tank, that can also engage with that barrel, but barrels haven't been hitting the right targets and they haven't been doing the right job. I mean, they're splitting them up. They're working around these flex rain with these beautiful equalizers, but this is not working out in their favor. So what I'd do in the shoes of Quiet Vacuum Pump is either bait out an objective and then leave Nectarine around the fringes, go for the inhib, rush it down, because he can take these inhibs extremely fast, and with one inhib down, you can really start pulling resources and making Carry Me Senpai react to you in terms of, for example, you take the bot lane inhibitor, it forces one person to go bot whilst you take Baron. It's harder for them to rotate in team fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where they really need to start pulling resources and playing more towards their team comp. Because if everyone's grouped up now, they're like, hey, no worries, this game is finished. But I don't think they realize how far behind they really are on gold. They seem to be up in terms of infrastructure and the amount of map pressure that they have. But when it comes to raw power, it's still on the side of Carry Me Senpai. They've got that extra 10k worth of gold. They are up in kills as well. So it's not something that you can really count them out for. And especially once those other towers, if they start falling as well, that's just extra gold in their pocket. Although at this point, it probably wouldn't really matter that much because most of these guys are at 4 items. 5 items. It's really just going to help out the supports more in this situation because they're the ones that are really starved for anything. The Baron is up in a minute 50. The Dragon's up in a minute 30. Is this where we're going to see the next contestant? Or is it going to be one of those things where, well, let's give up one of these objectives so we can send Cute Nectarine to take out the inhibitors?
Yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of